Hey there and welcome back to another Disney video. And what do you know? We've had a trailer drop for yet another Disney live action adaptation, this time Peter Pan and Wendy. And look, I'm not a massive hater of the live action adaptations or anything, but yeah, some of them are much better than others, and the recent efforts have ranged from poor to utter garbage. Absolute bargain bin tier type of films. Especially the recent Pinocchio remake. Whew! Very much felt like they decided to produce that film with the very simple mantra of take everything good about the original and make it worse. And so immediately when I heard about this film, Peter Pan and Wendy, I was majorly apprehensive because once again, it seems like a pure remake. It's not even trying to do something new and different. The best ones are things like Cruella or Christopher Robin, where they fill in the blanks somewhat and they blaze their own trail. They're fun and interesting. But the films like this, where they seemingly just going to do a complete redo but worse, they can just go away forever, please. But yeah, the film's been made, and sadly, from the trailer, it very much looks like a generic rehash. Something that's going to be god-awful. And so yeah, today I'm going to vent about all of this, whilst giving my thoughts on the trailer. Oh, goodness me. Well, anyway, nothing else for it but to get into it, I suppose. And so yeah, we start off the trailer, and immediately, it got my hackles up, because the first shot we had of Wendy is her hands. And I know that sounds weird, but it's more the effect. It was the worst looking fairy dust effect I've seen in a while. Seriously, the effects looks like a low budget made for TV special. It's exactly the same vibe I got from the Pinocchio remake. The effects were very bad. A big selling point for the original Disney films was that they were so visually unique for the time of their release. But here, we just have this utter bastardization. And you might be saying now, oh, way to overreact, it's just a shot of her hands. But yeah, for now it's just a shot of her hands. But this is the fairy dust effect, the Tinkerbell effect. Imagine this terrible twinkling effect when they're flying, or on Tinkerbell. It's gonna look so shit. It's like the vampire sparkle from Twilight. And the thing is, I know for a fact that the technology exists to make it look better. So, since this is Disney, why not cough up a little extra money to make it happen? God damn. Anyway, at least the actual aerial shots of the landscapes, they look good, decent, nice enough. Although, I'm not sure all of that's even CGI, so yeah, you can't exactly claim credit for that. Good location scouting, perhaps. We then have Wendy again calling out for her brothers and running towards what turns out to be the Lost Boys. And yeah, I know that people are of course going to be mad for the sin of them casting diverse Lost Boys. And honestly, that doesn't bother me. It's never bothered me. I mean, this is set in Edwardian England. There were more than just white people back then. Instead, what has me depressed is the dialogue and the acting. My God, it's very rough. And this in turn made me spiral, because I remember that the majority of the cast is going to be child actors. The majority of the dialogue is going to be performed by child actors. And for the most part, child actors are usually bad. Like, I don't want to be mean, but I just did not rate the acting in this sequence where we meet the Lost Boys. And yes, they make a reference, they make a point to talk about the fact that it's not just Lost Boys, but they're still called the Lost Boys. But honestly, with all that, I think Wendy's right. Why even keep the name Lost Boys then? I don't think I care enough about the Lost Boys to get even slightly annoyed that the Lost Boys is half girls. But it does annoy me that Disney is making a big thing out of it, making sure to point it out instead of doing the obvious thing and just not caring about it. And thus showing that it's not a big deal. And just call them the Lost Kids, the Lost Children, Lost Brats, I don't care. Because by calling them the Lost Boys, and in the trailer saying, oh, but half of you are girls. Yeah, why does that matter? It very much feels like they're trying to score points. I mean, look how progressive we are. And then they draw attention to that fact to make themselves seem impressive to everybody else. But to me, it's not, because the most progressive stories are just progressive. They don't show it off, they just are. But whatever. Disney actually does this quite a lot, so I'm not really all that surprised by this. Moving on, we then get a look at John, and I guess another lost boy, and yeah, they've really gone all in on making John look exactly like he does in the animation, and I just think, it's all going to end in tears. I'm telling you, stop trying to draw the comparisons. It just makes it even worse when it doesn't live up to it. We then have another look at all the lost boys and their hideout, which is a crumbling ruin, but I guess it fits the vibe, I suppose. But still, I liked the warmer vibes of the original. This feels too rustic for my taste, so the other side of the coin, don't change things too much either. Oh, it's an impossible line to straddle, I know, but still, just don't make the film then. And then we meet Peter Pan. And yeah, it's as I feared. His acting was weak. Like, I know they're all child actors, right? And so what can you expect? But the delivery of his line, I don't know, it was just so dull. Like a cardboard cutout, but with words. And I don't like ragging on kids, but damn, this ain't it. I can't wrap my head around it. Before the rise of Disney Plus, this would have been bound to release in cinemas. It just baffles the mind. How? Also, Tinkerbell being a regular person, but tiny, is going to seem very weird to me. I don't know, the more I see, the more it becomes clear that this is the type of film that should have remained as an animation. And if not, well, the 2003 version exists and slaps. So why bother, Just look at that. I just don't get it. Especially all that twinkle bullshit on her fairy wings. Just no thank you. We then get a look at the iconic shadow chasing scene in the Darling family nursery. Oh, and yeah, Peter's hat, it does not look good in a live action context. It looks pretty stupid actually. And in fact, the kid is straight up wearing the Disney Robin Hood hat. It's not even the Peter Pan hat. I mean, both probably would have looked stupid, but if you're gonna look stupid anyway, may as well be a bit more accurate. And I mean, one does look worse than the other. Oh, and then we get a size comparison for Tinkerbell, and yep, she looks a little silly in live action. I'm hating every aspect of this trailer, but we'll continue on. We get the Darlings preparing to go with Peter Pan to Neverland, and we have a terribly delivered line from Wendy. And I gotta wonder, is this terrible script, bad acting, bad directing, using the worst possible take? I mean, surely this couldn't be the best take they had, right? And then they followed up with an equally bad delivery from Peter Pan. The little kid's fine though. But yeah, Peter Pan, he seems to lack that cheeky, happy-go-lucky vibe. And honestly, his voice is a little too deep for my tastes. For me, it's a complete and utter miscast here. We then have them fly to Neverland and they see the mermaids, and yeah, the mermaids are very glowy and sparkly. We see the pirates who look like extras from Pirates of the Caribbean, but you know what? I don't think I mind that too much. And then we have a few quick cut scenes. We have the lost kids wandering through a cave. We get a look at Mrs. Darling. Wendy and John playing a sword fighting game in the nursery. Nana the dog, who's my early contender for best character in this shit show. A look at Wendy and John when they were much younger, and Wendy playing the piano for her overbearing father, with her voiceover saying that she doesn't want to grow up. We then get a look at the native people that live in Neverland, and this is a bold choice because if my company had made a horrifically racist portrayal of an indigenous people, in the remake, I reckon I'd err on the side of caution and just cut out that plot point entirely. But nope, Tiger Lily has made the cut. We also get a look at Hook, and I don't know, it's just Jude Law in a bad wig. Does not hold up with the classic Hook from, well, any adaptation in recent memory. Honestly, the costumes as a whole, I'm not rating them much. And then the final thing of note is that Wendy seems to take a more active role. And yeah, I get it. You want the girls to play a more active role instead of the passive part that they play in other adaptations. And that's fair enough. It's a new world, a modern world. I'm happy to get with the times, and I think this is probably going to be the best of the changes for me. But the rest of it looks so bad. The movie will be bad. The movie will bomb. Mark my words. Stop making these direct-to-Disney Plus remakes. I'm begging you. But with all that being said, that's the end of the trailer, the end of this video. And I would like to say that these have just been my opinions, and now I'd like to hear yours. What do you think of the upcoming Peter Pan movie? You excited? You think it's going to be terrible? What do you think of the trailer? I'm curious for your thoughts, so make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let me know.